A football stadium is one of the liveliest places you can imagine during the day. The roar of the crowd, the players sprinting on the pitch, the music blaring from the speakers, it's alive, almost breathing. But when the fans are gone, when the lights go out, the energy changes. It's not just silent, it's oppressive, like the place is holding its breath, watching you. I know because I used to work in one. And I swear, there's something in those walls. Something wrong. The stories were always there. People laughed them off. Oh, that's just the building settling, or you've been working too many late shifts. But the ones who stayed after hours? The barmaids, the chefs, the security staff? They all tell you the same thing, this place has eyes. It doesn't like to be empty. There's this one barmaid I worked with who had an experience that still gives me chills when I think about it. It was late, past closing, and she was the last one in the bar, cleaning up. The stadium was locked up tight, no one was supposed to be there. She was wiping down the counter when she saw a man walk past, heading down the hallway near the bar. At first, she didn't think much of it, maybe a coworker forgot something, or a security guy making rounds. But when she looked up again, it hit her, the hallway you walked down was a dead end. There's no exit, no doors, just a blank wall. Still, she thought she should check. Maybe he was lost or needed help. So she left the bar and followed him. The sound of her own footsteps was the only thing breaking the silence, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the temperature was dropping with every step she took. She turned the corner, expecting to see him standing there. But there was no one. It wasn't just that he wasn't there, there was nowhere for him to have gone. The walls were solid, the hallway completely empty. She called out, her voice shaking, "Hello? Is anyone there?" The only reply was the echo of her own words. She told me later that she'd never felt fear like that in her life. It wasn't just that the man was gone, it was the feeling that he'd never been there at all. Or worse, that he still was, watching her, just out of sight. Then there's the chef. Bob. A good guy, reliable, no nonsense, the kind of person you trust to tell it straight. He didn't believe in any of the ghost stuff, not at first. But one morning, that changed. Bob liked to get to the stadium early, before anyone else, to prep the kitchen. That day was no different. He disarmed the security system, locked the doors behind him, and went about his routine. The building was dead quiet, the kind of quiet where you can hear the hum of the refrigerators and the faint creak of the floors as you walk. He was getting changed into his whites when he heard it. "Morning, Bob." It was a cheerful voice, casual, like someone greeting an old friend. Without even thinking, he replied, "Hi, good morning," as he buttoned his jacket. And then he froze. He was alone. The security system confirmed it. No one else had entered the building. He checked the cameras himself. Slowly, he turned toward the doorway where the voice had come from, expecting to see someone standing there. But the doorway was empty. The hallway beyond it was dark and still. Bob told me he stood there for a long time, staring into that empty space, his heart pounding. Finally, he forced himself to move, to check the hallway, the kitchen, the storage rooms, everywhere. There was no one. No sign that anyone else had been there. But he couldn't shake the feeling that something had. He said he could feel it, that weight in the air, like someone was standing right behind him, just out of reach. I asked him if he thought it was his imagination, and he looked at me dead in the eye and said it wasn't in my head. I heard it. Plain as day. Whoever it was, they knew my name. The thing is, these aren't isolated incidents. I've heard other stories, shadows moving in the stands long after the last fan has left, faint cheers echoing through the hallways when the place is supposed to be empty, footsteps following you when you're locking up for the night. I've felt it myself, that oppressive presence, like the stadium is more than just steel and concrete. It's alive. And it doesn't like to be left alone. Some people say it's the spirits of old fans, diehards who couldn't bear to leave even after death. Others think it's something darker, something tied to the land itself or to the history of the place. Me? I don't know. All I know is that when I worked there, I never felt completely alone. If you ever find yourself in a stadium after dark and you hear a voice or see a shadow where it shouldn't be, don't look. Don't follow. Some places hold secrets that don't want to be found. Because sometimes the things you can't see are the ones watching you the closest.